Hey everybody, Michael here from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video. And today we're looking at the Umarex T4E P2P Secure 68P less lethal. I'm going to call this the .68 caliber impact pistol. And this is the tabletop review. No shooting yet, but we will for sure be testing this one out. And the reason I call it the .68 caliber impact pistol is because it can shoot pretty much any kind of round, I think, other than paintball. It's designed on the paintball concept in that it shoots .68 caliber paintball balls, but in this case, it's a less lethal device. So we're going to be using other rounds. We're going to be using things like nylon rounds, rubber ball, potentially pepper ball, powder ball, glass ball. I mean, you could literally put just about anything in it. It actually does come with 3 different types of rounds for you to start using it right off the get-go, and it even comes with CO2. So this is it really quickly. Again, 68 caliber. What we're going to do is look and see what this package comes in. This is a whole kit that it comes in, and it does come with this really nice packaging here. Yeah, it's a really nice, I wouldn't call it a hard shell. It's kind of a hard shell, soft shell. There's a little bit of flex here. It's kind of right in the middle, and it's, you know, you've got this handle, Velcro's at the top just to close it up. But we've got it open now. It's got a zipper that keeps it nicely enclosed. It's not latches, right? Of course, you're going to get a manual with it. We'll take a look at that in a second. But you do get, oh, you always get a sticker. It's nice to have a sticker, right? You got to have a sticker. You do get 3 12-gram CO2s. These are just standard 12-gram CO2, which is nice because they're easy to get. They're not that expensive. And then you also have your rubber ball, okay? And these, again, are 68 caliber. It comes with 6 of them. Rubber ball. We'll just turn these the right way around. You also have these impact rounds. These are, what are they exactly? They're like a glass breaker. So they're a hard kind of impact round, probably like a hard plastic, okay? And then you also have these powder balls. So the powder balls are going to just make a big mess, make a big puffy mess, just so you can kind of see where you're shooting it. You know, is it going to irritate somebody? Not so much. Now, the idea here is you could use a pepper ball if you can get them. It's a little tougher to get them here in Canada. I'm sure it's not impossible, but you're not going to find anything shipping with pepper ball here in Canada, just the way it is. I've also got some nylon 68 caliber balls here that I was using in the TC68. These work pretty good. They're just under 3 grams. I'm not exactly sure what the weight of all of these are. And then I have some other yellow rubber ball. So these are like a softer rubber ball, a little cushier. These are great because if you're shooting them, you can find them a little easier. So these are good for practicing with, shooting different targets when you don't want to, you know, let's say you're shooting indoors and you don't want to break any windows or something. These would be ideal. They'll still do a pretty good job, you know, and they're not really that much lighter. They're just a little softer. So easy to see. Got a bag of those. So you got all kinds of options when shooting something like this. Let's take a quick look at the manual. We'll also take a look at the little outer sheet that it came with. So you got your owner's manual, right? And you can see here CO2 12 gram. You can see here 300, what is that? 350 FPS. And keep in mind, this is 68 caliber. So that's going to have a lot of energy. By the way, it's like 19 joules of energy. I believe that's around 14 foot-pounds of energy. So in terms of these pistols that I've been reviewing, this is probably the max amount. The other versions of pistols that I've been using have been 50 cal, and they've been shooting closer to 13 to 15 joules. So not that far off, but it does make a difference. 6 rounds, double action trigger, right? And P2P, prepare to protect. We got more stuff going on in here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in the manual, but you can see here you've got the stick magazine. You know, you've got different information here. Talks about the parts of the gun, talks about the firing. So essentially, until you fire that first round, the CO2 is not pierced, which is nice, which means it keeps it, you know, pressurized, waiting for you to use it. The magazine, by the way, is used to tighten that CO2. It's got a little tool built into it, which is nice. Okay, so really easy. The CO2 goes in the front. We'll show you that in a bit. So this manual just kind of helps you, you know, figure out how to load it up, put the CO2 in, put the magazine in, all of those things, how to properly aim it, okay, all of that. So very important. Really quickly want to show you this outer packaging that comes on the outside of it. So you can see here there's also extended mags available. I believe it's 10 round with the extended mag. I'm not 100% sure. Talks about some of the different ammo options you can get, including pepper round. Talks about how these how these rounds have a solid core but are designed to break apart so that they still travel through the air, but they're ensured to break apart when you hit something. And again, on the back, you've kind of got some instructions here that's similar to what's in the manual. Okay, so yeah, so what we really want to get at is this gun. So let's just take a good look at it first. Okay, so you do have this fiber optic sight in the front here. You have fiber optic sight in the rear. They're non-adjustable. This is a close range type of shooter. You're not going to be shooting that far out, probably within 10 to 20 feet, I would imagine. You got this big opening here for the massive 68 caliber, and this is where your CO2 goes. So we'll take the magazine out, and this is what I'm talking about here. You have this tool that allows you to undo it. So once you get it cracked, you can just finger undo it, right? So you just use your fingers, whoops. And by the way, the CO2 goes in tip first. What am I doing? That's the barrel. It's hard to do this with the screen in front of me here. So here's the barrel. You pop it in, you screw it in, finger tight, and then you would just tighten it a little bit extra with this little key here. And then it's ready to go in terms of it's pressurized, it's ready to go. You would obviously have to add your ammunition here. 6 rounds. You've got this follower that keeps it all tight. Once this is loaded in with your selected ammo, you're ready to go. When you pull that first round through, and now it's got a trigger safety here, so it probably needs to have ammunition. So it needs the magazine in, or you're not actually going to be able to pull that trigger, which is nice. There is a trigger safety. There's no CO2 in here, so nothing's going to happen. You notice there is a hammer, and it's not even that heavy. So that first trigger pull, though I'm not going to do it right now, but I'll let you know when I do the field test. That first trigger pull when there's CO2 in there is probably going to be a little heavier because you're piercing the CO2 at the same time. But then after that, it's pretty light. It's not a heavy double action trigger. So you do have this, you can actually visually see what's going on here. Yeah, so it's pretty good. So we're going to just put this back in for now so that I don't lose it. Because if I lost this, I would never be able to use this gun again unless I rebought it or something. I'd have to buy that piece, so I don't want to lose that. We'll just finger tight that in. You do have a Picatinny rail here. There's no blowback action or anything. This particular one, I don't know if you can get all black versions, but this one has an orange slide. It does weigh a fair amount. Again, you're going to have this barrel that is metal. This is all metal inside here. The CO2 area is all metal. The trigger and trigger safety appear to be metal. The magazine is metal, all metal. So, I mean, there is a lot of metal in this gun. Just the slide and the frame are plastic, okay? Again, Picatinny rail here for some sort of, if you want to put a laser, or if you want to put, I'd put a tack light on here because, usually the bad people come when it's nighttime. So you definitely want to have some sort of light so you can at least blind them a little bit before you light them up, right? Yeah, and here again is your hammer. I don't know if it's really a functioning hammer. It doesn't feel like it is because it's pretty loose. It's it's mainly for visual display. Yeah, you do have a little bit of markings and stuff on here. Let's see what we got. On that side, we have this. This is the serial number with 68 caliber there. On this side, you have the prepare to protect secure 68 written on there. Okay. Again, really nice gun. Now, I do want to compare this to a few other pistols that I've reviewed already. So we have the TP50. This is the Gen 2. And you'll notice it looks like it's about the same size. This is a little chunkier, so the slide area is a little taller, and the whole gun, as you can see here, is wider. So I'm going to say overall, maybe even the length is about the same. So the Secure is definitely, the 68P Secure is definitely a bigger gun. But again, keep in mind this is a 68 caliber with a full-size dropout metal magazine. This one has a magazine that's internal, right? So once this is loaded up, to load it up again, you got to do it one at a time. With this guy, you can put the 10-round extended mag in or get some additional 6-round mags and reload. I'm sure you can get a couple magazines worth, and I'll probably test out at least doing 2 magazines worth to see if we can get through 2 magazines, so 12 rounds with the 1 CO2. That's probably realistic because I don't think you're going to have a lot of time to do much more shooting than that if the bad guys come out. So there is a HDP 50 version of this gun, Gen 2 as well, which is just, it's, if you've watched my other videos, it's essentially the same gun. It's just marketed a little different. This one's marketed more for, you know, training, and this one's marketed more for home defense. So, you know, that's why this one's all black and this one's all has this. So you can see it's a less lethal version. So these guys, again, are going to get closer to 13 and maybe as much as 15 joules, not 19. They shoot a 50 caliber round. So let me show you what that looks like. So here's a 68 cal versus a 50 cal. So way bigger round, way more energy, potential energy out of the 68 caliber. When they hit something, you know, it's going to have a lot of blunt force because it's so large. And by the way, that TC68 rifle that I shot, which has about 30 joules, it was able to penetrate 3-ply plywood with these rounds that are just under 3 grams. So at about 20 joules, definitely less, you're going to feel it. It's gonna do quite a bit of damage. So very likely it's going to do a fair bit of damage. Now we have this HDP 50 compact, which is definitely smaller, but again, this is a 50 caliber, okay? And it's probably going to be in the 13 joules range as well, I believe. I can't remember exactly offhand, but we have tested it out. But it's definitely going to not be as powerful as the 68 caliber. It is smaller. This one, you do load it up under the barrel as well with this one. So this one, I think it only holds 4 or 5 maybe rounds, but it's definitely not as many rounds. It's smaller. It is more compact. So there's that, right? But as a home defense type thing, you know, sitting in a drawer, I don't think it really matters if it's a little bigger. I think what you're really going to be after is a little more raw power, a little bit more ammunition capacity, and the ability to reload quickly. So having that a removable magazine, I think, is a big bonus, and it's an all-metal magazine. You're not going to have any issues with this guy, you know. And again, a 68 caliber with all those different ammunition types is, you know, gives you a lot of variety of what you want to use, depending on your situation and what you're using it for. But yeah, I really think this is a nice gun. I think if I had my choice to buy one, based on just what I'm looking at here today, not shooting it, this is probably the one I would want to have in my drawer at home beside me for any situations that might arise where I want to encourage somebody that's not supposed to be in my house to leave. This would probably be something that would be very useful, I would say. All right, I haven't even gotten into the specifications or the pros and the cons. I've just been really excited to talk about this gun. I'm doing this all backwards, but let's just really quickly get through the rest of this. It's basically, the gun is called the P2P, Prepare to Protect. It's manufactured and distributed by Umarex T4E. Again, it's a paintball pistol design for less lethal encounters. It uses .68 caliber rounds designed for rubber, nylon, powder, pepper, and glass breaker rounds. Again, it uses that single 12-gram CO2 cartridge that you can use the quick pierce system, so it stays pressurized until you need it. And it's also got that mostly plastic construction with some metal parts that I showed you. So the plastic frame and slide, metal barrel, and other internal parts, including the trigger and the magazine. Has a double action trigger. It weighs about 1.4 pounds or 635 grams. The total length is 8.25 inches or 210 millimeters. And the barrel is 4.8 inches in length. Again, 6-round drop-free metal magazine. That extended magazine, by the way, is 9 rounds, not 10. And it shoots up to 350 FPS, which is 14 foot-pounds of energy or 19 joules. It does have a built-in trigger safety with fiber-optic front and rear sights that are non-adjustable. You do have that Picatinny rail under the muzzle there for tack light or laser. And again, it comes with the orange slide to let people know it's not a real gun, it's a less lethal gun. And it does come in the zippered padded case with the manual, 6 rubber balls, 6 inert powdered balls, and 6 glass breaker balls, along with the 3 12-gram CO2 cartridges to get you started and on your way. And by the way, it is made in Taiwan. Now, I've already done the comparison, I've already done the walk around. Let's quickly go over some pros and cons and finish up this review. Starting with the pros, there's not a lot of options for paintball or less lethal type guns. We're getting more of them, and this is another one that we've just added, so that's great. It is clearly marked in orange to indicate it is not an actual lethal firearm, which could help with legal liability here in Canada, just to let people know you weren't intending to kill anybody, you just wanted to encourage someone to leave rather than using a real firearm and getting yourself in potentially more trouble. It does have probably one of the higher power ratings for a pistol at 350 FPS with that 19 joules of energy, and that .68 caliber round is going to definitely do some damage once it hits something. That response ready trigger is a big upgrade. It pierces the CO2 and fires immediately with a single trigger pull, keeping it always ready without leaking before you need it. And again, it uses those 12-gram CO2 cartridges, which makes it a little cheaper and easier to get. You do have the drop-free 6-round metal magazine, making reloading much faster than internal magazines. And it does have a fairly high capacity at 6 rounds for such a small gun. Keep in mind, these are .68 caliber rounds, so they're quite bulky. They do take up a bit more space in the magazine. It does have that fiber optic sight front and back, which makes lining it up in different lighting conditions and backgrounds pretty easy to do. And you do have that built-in Picatinny rail for adding accessories again, flashlight for night situations, a laser if you just want to really dial in the accuracy, so that's kind of nice. It does come with that zippered case that includes everything you need to get yourself started, with a lot of different ammunition varieties to pick from. All right, some cons. Its larger overall size compared to the other pistols that I showed you here does make it a bit more bulkier, but again, I don't think that's going to matter if it's just sitting in your drawer. The sights are non-adjustable, but that's pretty typical, and you will be shooting this fairly close up, I would imagine. And that trigger pull is mildly heavy, especially on that first round. I'm anticipating it's going to be a heavy first round shot. Once you get through that, you should be okay. And in Canada, it does not seem you can get pepper balls all that easy. I'm sure there's ways. Where there's a will, there's a way, but you're not going to find it super easy, or on websites that sell these products, they're probably not going to be included. I haven't mentioned it, but we do sell this in our Canada Replica Airgun store over at replicairguns.ca. I'll put a link in the description. We do have a variety of paintball style air guns in our US store as well, so I'll put links to those in the description of this video and over on the website, where I have the written article or post with additional photos and sometimes some more information. If you're interested in other products, air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories, then check out replicairguns.ca for Canada and replicairguns.us for the US. Also, make sure to check us out on Vimeo, Rumble, and YouTube, along with our other social media platforms. All right, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, take care.